Hello again, I'm Stephen Jerome, and I'm going to continue reading from my third novel, The London Year. This is part 111. Terry is just wrapping up things. So are we, with so little to go now. I started gathering things that I was going to take back to LA. Of the hundreds, maybe thousands of Polaroids I'd taken, I had 6. I lined them up on the mantelpiece in my room. First, the only one of me and Sebastian, the one Gracie took with me wearing my brand new Daniel Hector jacket in the sitting room. I looked so happy. The only shot of Sebastian alone was the one I took that same night in his car on our very first outing. Technically, it was a bad photo, but somehow the too close blast from the flash spoke of our shared excitement. Sebastian was smiling. All his features were there, but his face had a mask-like quality, more telling than I knew at the time. Regardless, he still looked good. He always looked good. There were 2 group shots from the barbecue, one with Finn, Colin, Gracie, and Francesca, which I had taken. The other group shot, with me included, taken by Finn, had me looking tense, sad, and distracted. Tess had just run out the front door crying. Fortunately, there was a beautiful one of Tess, which I had taken later. The shot of her, minus the flash, in window light at her flat in Notting Hill. And finally, the one with Timothy. I kept it hidden for years, like the song you love but never play, because it might break your heart all over again. Did Gracie ever learn about that night at the swanky sex club? It was hard to imagine how Sebastian would describe things if he had told her. I chose to think she had no clue, blinded by the light. But I still got a pang in the pit of my stomach every time I thought of Timothy. He was right about everything, but I still didn't see the end game. Sebastian was the giver and the gift, a mixer, a player. Most played willingly, some were just played. I took quiet pride that I'd never fallen down the rabbit hole. Tess and I resumed our unspoken kind of peace. In spite of everything, we were making plans. The good between us was just too good. Even if we had to get married for her to immigrate to America, that's what we'd do. The rest would just have to play itself out. We knew that having children wasn't in the cards. Considering how my life played out, it would have been a disaster for the kids. No regrets. Tess said as much decades later. No small relief to me, but it was still no excuse for bad behavior. Eventually, our past lives reversed enough to come full circle. At least that's how I saw it. And while remaining distant friends, we went our separate ways. Meanwhile, I was reminded of Sebastian every day. There was a new ad campaign spread all over London, chic eyewear, very expensive, by an Italian label I'd never heard of, fashionably large frames, a very close angle. Once again, it was all about the eyes. Then, on my last day at Harrods, 2 days before I'd be out at the flat, 3 more before Tess and I would kiss goodbye and I'd head back to LA, a call came in on the Frosted Food phone line. It was Gracie. I couldn't have been more surprised. She got straight to the point. "Sebastian needs you," she said, meaning, of course, my services as a photographer. Oh, I thought of everything Tess and I had talked about, my resolve, the promises I'd made. I thought about Finn, felled on the altar of art. "Would I be available tonight? We'll pay you double for the short notice." I thought about Colin, who was handed back his investments at a loss. "Sebastian really wants you with him. Would I even tell Tess?" Then I said yes. Okay, that was short and sweet. We'll continue with part 112 tomorrow. Bye-bye.